surged to almost 400. Super Typhoon Odette left a trail of destruction in areas that were teeming with tourists just weeks before. Survivors are desperate for food, water, electricity, supplies. But all these, nothing new. In a country that's among the most vulnerable in the world to climate change, citizens can't help but expect more disaster preparedness and response from the government. Good evening, I'm Pio Ontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as usual. Our first guest tonight, the Public Information Officer of Dinagat Islands, Jeff Crisostomo. He is representing Governor Kakabag-Ao. Good evening, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. You're joining us from Butuan, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Pia.
Yeah, but you're on your way back to Dinagat, right?
Yes, tomorrow. We're accompanying some foreign dignitaries who wish to help Dinagat Islands and provide relief.
Okay. What are the latest numbers, Jeff? Let's begin with that, no? Yung casualty count.
Yes. Right now, I just received recently the report. We have 21 casualties from the 7 municipalities of the province. We have 13 major injuries and 201 minor injuries. And then we have only one missing person.
All right. And in terms of devastation, mga sirang mga bahay, buildings, etc., how bad is it in Dinagat Islands?
If we're going to count partially to totally damaged houses, it's 100%. Even the governor's house was not spared. Her whole roof collapsed. And in terms of totally damaged houses, we have 14,000 households out of 23,000. All the rest were partially damaged.
Are the residents of Dinagat Islands going hungry?
Yes, ma'am. We're running out of food and potable water. That is what food and water are the things we're asking for from donors right now. Those are our immediate needs from relief organizations, humanitarian organizations, and even from our national government, of course.
Okay. Well, when you say food and water, food, for example, because people will send sacks of rice, but if you don't have water and if you don't have the means to cook the rice, how would you eat it? So paano yun?
Yung mahalaga po, we need water filtration units that would purify water. We have several water sources for drinking water. We have rivers that can be used that just need to be filtered so that they could be safe to drink. And then we have we actually need more rice because our rice during the typhoon got wet. So we can't distribute them now to the people. Our preposition good.
Oh, all right. And what else is happening there? Like you said, you need food and water, but what else is happening? What else is needed?
Yes, right now, since after the typhoon, we still don't have electricity or telecommunications, but we have restored partial connectivity, 2G connectivity in some areas. In the municipality of Tubacon, one of the far-flung municipalities in the north, one of our projects, Governor Kakabag-Ao's project, satellite internet with the Davao, it's still intact. So they were able to communicate to the outside world only today when they were able to get the generator set to power the satellite dish. And then in the capital municipality, since Surigao City now has signal finally, panasasaga po namin yung signal papunta sa San Jose, sa capital po, from Surigao City. But we still need more repairs for telecommunication infrastructure. Globe and Smart have already been contacted and they have committed to send people, engineers, to fix their equipment and their infrastructure.
There was enough warning, Jeff, hindi ba? Pag-asa did say what kind of a typhoon this would be, or kulang ba yun? Were people caught off guard?
Actually, we weren't because we already knew that it was intensified to a Category 4 typhoon.
Well, the US said Category 5.
Sorry, Category 5. Preemptive evacuations were already made long before signal number 1 was declared. So the only evacuations we had to do were the forced evacuations, but there were only few who needed to be evacuated involuntarily.
Okay.
So right now, most of our people who are in the evacuation centers, they also suffer the brunt of the typhoon because our evacuation centers, even if they were well built, and some of them are brand new, were just turned over by the DPWH to the provincial government. The roofs also were blown away.
My God. Okay. Jeff, a typhoon in itself, as we all know, is not a disaster. It's a natural hazard exacerbated by climate change, but also by the fact that we fail to prepare. And of course, I'm not referring to relief goods or rescue teams on standby, no, but to disaster mitigation measures. So, would you say that Governor Kakabagao and the LGU, and your LGU, can you say that your LGU, with the actions you've taken and the policies you have in place, did not in any way contribute to the disaster?
Yes, we can definitely say that. Governor Kakabagao has always been an advocate of climate mitigation. Our programs are centered on conservation of the environment, as well as ensuring that our disaster risk reduction and management were in sync with the goals and the values of conservation and climate change mitigation. In fact, our DRRM office in the province is actually an award winner when it comes to disaster risk mitigation and climate change action. So we were really prepared when it came to the typhoon. But the strength of the typhoon was actually, we didn't expect that it would be that strong. Even buildings collapsed because of the strong wind. They were torn like paper.
Well, other people in other areas describe it as some kind of a mini Yolanda, and that's what Governor Artiap of Bohol is going to say. I'm going to speak to him in just a bit, no? May pagka-Yolanda ito, hindi ba?
Medyo po. Actually, we were saying that it was reminiscent of Yolanda, but if not, it was much worse. Because in Yolanda, we didn't have much property damage, and we had 0 casualties during that time. So we had that same kind of preparation, even better than our preparation in Yolanda. So this is really, I don't know, it's something that we couldn't really predict. But even if we couldn't predict it, we knew that we had enough preparation and it shows also in the very relatively low casualty count. But for us, one death in any disaster is one death too many, of course. But still, we express our condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones.
Well, of course, we hope that help gets to you as soon as it can. Thank you very much for joining us. The Public Information Officer of Dinagat Islands, Jeff Crisostomo, speaking for Governor Kakabagao. We'll be back after a quick break. Stay tuned.
Oh, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. From Dinagat Islands, we now go to Bohol, also heavily hit by Typhoon Odette. We speak to Governor Arthur Yap. Governor Art Yap, thank you very much for being with us. Describe to us first the situation. You said, you will say that this was like a mini Yolanda, your own house destroyed, or, umabot sa second story yung tubig.
That's true, Pia. Thank you very much for having me and Bohol in your program. Yes, I will say that it is the mini Yolanda in scale, but the Yolanda that we never really went through, because nung panahon ng Yolanda, ang dinaanan yung Region 8, we were actually scared from that. The impact on Bohol during the Yolanda period was the extensive blackouts, because we are interconnected to Region 8. But in this case, what has been visited upon us is not only the blackout, because the power was cut. We're connected to Region 8, natutunan kami ng kuryente na yun. But dinaanan pa kami ng bagyo. You have to remember that Yolanda was about 235 kilometers per hour sustained winds.
Yeah.
And this typhoon was at 200 with gustiness of around 240. So parang nandun na rin. And the situation is really bad because nung naputulan kami ng kuryente, we've been on blackout for since Typhoon Odette hit landfall here in Bohol. Since that day, naputulan kami ng kuryente, bagsak ang mga transmission lines. Bumagsak rin yung communication lines namin. So we couldn't even talk to each other. We couldn't talk to the mayors. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know where to direct help. And 2 days into the typhoon, we only talked to 21 out of our 48 mayors. It was only yesterday that we got to talk to our 48 mayors, or about 3 days after the typhoon death. So what happened to Pia was, bagsak ang communication lines, bagsak rin yung power lines. Without power, our refilling stations don't work. So wala kaming tubig ngayon. That's the reason why we're asking for generators, and we're asking for water supplies, water refilling trucks, no? In Bohol right now. This is an island of 1.4 million people. And
earlier GovArt,
375,000.
Earlier kausap ko GovArt si Jeff Crisostomo, PIO of Dinagat Islands. He was saying that people in Dinagat Islands are going hungry. Is that what is happening also there in Bohol?
Yes, when I was listening to the Dinagat report, it's like it's very much characteristic of what is happening here. There are just some very important key nuances. No? In terms of size, this is 1.4 million people.
Right.
So, grabe yung problema dito. Not to say that we are not sensitive to the plight of our fellow Filipinos who are undergoing the same tragedy. But iba talaga yung natamaan yung buong island mo, at meron pa kami, and that's about 4,000 square kilometers of land. And then I have about 65 island barangays in northern Bohol. And they're grabe ang impact here because we're talking about people na nawalan sila ng livelihood because wala na yung mga fishing gears at saka yung mga bangka nila. Their homes are destroyed, and they have no water because there's no fresh water in the islands. You get that from the mainland. And there's no fresh water from the mainland because there's no power. And another thing that I've been saying is that the distribution utilities here don't have the capability to even fix their transmission lines. That's why I've been asking for boom trucks to come and help them at least clear the debris from the roads and clear the concrete lines that have collapsed to the national roads, so we can turn 1 lane passable roads into 2 lane passable roads. No? And they don't have that capability. That's why I've been asking for support from the national government, the LGUs.
Well, are they sending that? Are they sending those boom trucks, for example?
Well, we have yet to receive that assistance, no? But I hear that Meralco has expressed interest. Maynila has also expressed the interest in sending truck and water refilling capabilities. But the question is, it's a race against time.
Right.
Water, food are so fundamental and basic, and we're entering day 5 tomorrow. And many communities, we've just started to distribute food packs and water in what little way that the provincial government can, considering all our funds are depleted. And so because of COVID, no? And so we continue to ask the DSWD to please send us at least the financial assistance to capacitate us to immediately buy from groceries and supermarkets here and directly order from suppliers what food and water we can distribute to our people.
Kanina lamang GovArt at around 6 p.m. ang death toll nyo was 97. Right now, we're approaching 9 in the evening. 97 pa ba or tumaas na?
Tumaas na po ito. We are already at 99, 16 missing, injured 189. And at least this one I can say that the forced evacuation measures must have worked, because in Yolanda we saw that the death toll there was upwards of 6,000. So this is nowhere near the 6,000. 99 dead, missing 16 and injured 189. It is still a tragedy. one death is one death too many. But even so, I feel that the preventive forced evacuations that the mayors did for the 48 municipalities worked.
Gov Art, my last question, a typhoon, of course, and this is something I'd asked Jeff Chrysostom of Dinagat Islands a while ago. A typhoon in itself, not a tragedy, really, not a disaster, but it's a natural hazard, and if we fail to prepare for it, not just by relief goods or rescue teams on standby, by disaster risk reduction mitigation measures. And I wanted to ask if the local government of Bohol, can you say that you had been able to focus on the DRRM so that we don't have situations like this, no? A natural hazard turning into a disaster, no?
I think, Pia, that dealing with super typhoons should be the benchmark. We in the Philippines are one of the most climate vulnerable countries, no? And we go through an average of 22 tropical cyclones in a year. But for me, my takeaway here is I shouldn't be looking at the average. And I recommend all our provinces must be looking at the Typhoon Odette, Typhoon Yolanda type of benchmark. And so in that respect, I say that I'm going to be looking at this more seriously. And I have to go back to the drawing table and discuss this with the mayors on how to climate-proof Bohol in the coming days. I feel it's not that we did not, we failed, but I believe that we could have done better, and we will be doing better in the coming days. We are going to be reassessing what happened to Bohol in the aftermath of Super Typhoon Odette.
That's very good to hear, Governor Art Yap of Bohol. Thank you so much for your time, and we do hope that you get the help you need right away. Maraming salamat sa iyo. More from our guests when we return. This is Politics as Usual.
O, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
We're on our final stretch. Tonight we also have Palawan Governor Jose Alvarez and PNP spokesperson Colonel Roderick Alba. But we speak first, Governor Alvarez by phone. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. Kanina lang po, kausap ko po si Governor Art Yap ng Bohol. And he was saying that it took days before they could contact all 48 towns of Bohol. Kayo po, Governor Alvarez, you have 25 municipalities. Na-contact niyo po ba lahat na? At alam niyo na po what is happening?
23 lang.
23, sorry.
23 municipalities. We have 12 and a half island municipalities.
Okay. Pero na-contact niyo na po lahat? And
Puntahan ko po kahapon yung San Vicente, and then I overflow over the affected. 6 lang po yung badly damage sa amin ng mga municipalities.
and these
Nakita
6,
ko po yung devastation from the air.
yung 6 na po yun, kasama na po yung Rojas kung saan state of calamity.
Yung badly damage ang Rojas, then south of Rojas going to Puerto Princesa. Doon marami pong landslide. Yung hagupit ng Typhoon Odette, you'll never believe. I was in the Yolanda aftermath noong November 9. Immediately after November 8, November 9, I was already in Coron. But Yolanda was lesser. The devastation ng Odette sa amin is grabe.
Kanina rin, sinabi rin yun ng PIO ng Dinagat Island, sinabi rin yun ni Art Yap. Ang sabi nga ni Art Yap, parang mini Yolanda ito. Would you say that the same thing?
No, this is larger. What hit us in Yolanda was only the Coron side and the Busuanga side of the northernmost. Parang ngayon, dahil sa amihan, parang tinulak itong bagyo na ito down southward. So tinamaan natin, ang unang-unang tinamaan yung, of course, dumaan lang sa Cuyo Islands, pumunta sa Araceli. Yung Araceli is also an island municipality, sharing the same island with Dumaran Island. dumaran na municipality. So, yung dumaran po, ate yun, isa sa mainland, isa po sa island. Doon po po kahapon galing, I was almost 3 hours in the air. Nakita ko po yung devastation. But I could not go down because I had to come back to Manila today just to submit the reports of our video clips and your pati yung mga situation report namin ng before the typhoon and after the typhoon. And doon na po, binigay ko na kay General Manager Escalada, hoping that he will immediately act like the Yolanda NSA assistance to Palawan. The day after dumating ako sa Coron, on the 10th, November 10, of that, 2 days after the Yolanda, nandoon yung 17 million na dala ni Congressman Sigoy. And then, meron din ako dalang cash na 13 million galing sa probinsya po. Immediately, pinamahagi namin doon sa nakita namin na bahay. Kasama na namin yung DSWD, kasama na namin yung kuha with pictures. Kung ang bahay mo 10,000, to our estimate, bibigyan ka agad 10,000 para sa zakong bigas. To rebuild. That's why in Yolanda, December Christmas, we already were lighted up. Nawala na pong, kasi tinulungan din kami ng mga taga-Mimaropa.
Pero ang
naayos po namin ang kuryente.
pero ang difference po ngayon Yolanda, November, so like you were saying, before Christmas, okay na. Ito, this is like 2 days, 2-3 days before Christmas.
Kaya nga, masarap na masarap. Talaga. At saka, the power of Odette, Ma'am Pia, I will describe to you. I will send you our set rep, our flash drive tomorrow if you want. Yung mga nyug, hindi lang natumba yung nyug dahil naputol. Na-apro talaga yung nyug. Napakaraming nyug na naputol.
Governor, can you tell us also yung casualty count po ninyo? How many so far?
As of yesterday, nung bago ako balik, kahapon na umaga, madaling araw, sa Rojas mayroong 22 missing. Yung sa Puerto, hindi pa nila ma-assert. Wala po kami signal, walang kuryente sa Puerto Princesa, wala rin tubig. Luckily, yung may mga bumba, may mga generator, meron sila tubig.
Okay. Governor, may final question na lang po to you. Sana briefly na lang po yung sagot. No? Because, syempre, ang local governments, you are responsible for how you implement disaster risk reduction mitigation measures. No? Would you say that you had been responsible for that you were able to do what you needed to do para ang ang bagyo kasi hindi naman po yun disaster Ang disaster doon, kapag we fail to prepare, no? Were you able to prepare?
We forewarned 2,600 families to evacuate immediately.
Pero bukod po sa pre-positioning relief goods, bukod po sa evacuation, yung pagpapatayo ng mga bahay, mga gusali, mga infrastructure, in other words, yung mga disaster risk reduction mitigation measures po ninyo, Governor, nasa maayos po na kalagayan?
Ma'am, I could say na hindi po natin mapilit yung mga wala talagang pera. They are mostly fisher folks living in the shoreline. Yun ang na-warrant namin. Ngunit yung mga bahay po nila, hindi talaga matitibay. And these places were not visited by typhoons before. Only itong sa northern part. First time po ito na in 25 years na tinamaan itong Puerto Princesa and northwards to Rojas.
All right. Governor Jose Alvarez of Palawan. Sir, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Still, the Philippine National Police, the spokesman, Colonel Alba, kanina po as of 6 p.m., 375 ang death toll na meron po kayo. Is it still 375 or tumaas na po ba ito?
Good evening, Ma'am Pia. Actually, there is already a policy statement ng ating butihing Secretary of the DILG na the giving of this data will now be centralized po sa ating NDRMC. So what we're doing now is we're just submitting all this data and this is subject for validation na po yung ating Office of the Civil Defense, the DILG and the DSWD. What the PNP is focusing now po, Ma'am Pia, is doon po tayo sa pag-locate ng mga missing persons and to support doon sa rescue and retrieval operations po.
All right. So you are not going to release any more figures, 375 as of 6 p.m. But at the very least, Colonel Alba, can you tell us the PNP figures? Yung 375 din as of 6 p.m., 375 pa po ba ngayon na mag-aalas 9 ng gabi or tumaas na po siya?
We cannot give you the exact number.
Don't give us the exact number. Just tell us kung tumaas na siya.
Sa ngayon po ay what we can tell you is that itong mga numbers na ito ay fluid po. Pabago-bago, mayroong pagbaba, mayroong pagtaas. Dahil po yung ating ibang communication lines with our unit ay hindi pa talaga stable, ma'am, sa
okay.
moment.
Alright. Pero labas na po ba na 400? Or are we close to 500?
No, below that.
Below 400?
Yes po.
All right. Colonel Alba, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm sorry we ran out of time, but thank you still. So we want to thank all our guests, Palawan Governor Jose Alvarez, Bohol Governor Art Yap, the PIO of Dinagat Islands, Jeff Crisostomo, representing Kakabag-Ao, and PNP spokesman, Colonel Rod Alba. You know, we have this usual extra about talking politics here at this table, but not tonight, not with this aftermath of a mini Yolanda. Typhoon Odette, Super Typhoon Odette. This is Politics as Usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. See you back here next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m.
O, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Loren Legarda po. 18 years akong senador at nagsulong ng mga batas na nakakatulong sa mga nangangailangan.
Free college education law.
Para sa aming edukasyon.
MSME law.
Batas para sa aming kabuhayan.
Climate Change Act.
Mga batas para sa kalikasan at climate change. Mga batas na ginawa ko na napapakinabangan ngayon. Sana makatulong pa ako sa mas marami.
Loren Legarda,